Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. It is Monday. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme. And in the studio, we have Alan Ruff, Alison McConnell and Barry Ferguson to look back over not only the League Cup semi-finals, but there was a small matter of 3 Premiership games. And, would you believe it, never a day goes by on this show, we'll be talking about sackings. Lots to talk about. Alan Ruff, Paul Heckingbottom, sacked. Is it the right decision?
Yeah, I think it is. I think the momentum had been growing. I don't think the result of the weekend helped him in any way at all. I don't think the fans have bought into anything that he's done, and results have driven obviously the board to come to this decision.
And of course, when the fans start to lose faith in them, suddenly they don't buy the tickets for the games. That starts the alarm bells going with the board, Alison.
Absolutely. I think you need your dressing room, you need your support, you need to see progress. I just don't think there's been any of that of late. I think August the 3rd, since he last registered a win of the season, 1 point off the bottom of the table, and it's the same problems week in, week out, maybe playing relatively well in some games, taking a lead, being unable to hold it. I think there's been a real soft centre about them, and I think an increasing inevitability about the decision that was made today.
Yeah, I've always been adamant that you get a kick off the previous manager if he leaves you with a good side, and I believe he got that off Neil Lennon's team. But then when he made his own decisions, when he influenced his own side, and the recruitment for me was poor, Barry, I think that was the final nail in the coffin. I watched a Hibs side completely the opposite of the Neil Lennon team at Easter Road.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. When he took over for Neil Lennon, he got that initial reaction. 6, 7, 8 games, they were really good. But it was Neil Lennon's team. And obviously players leave. He's went and recruited his own players, and quite simply they've not been good enough. For me, Hibs have got to be in that top 6. They're a big club. They've got a decent budget, and unfortunately, the results have not been right for them.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods yet, Ruffy. I mean, you could, by tomorrow's back pages, we'll have, any number of people who've been associated with Hibs throwing their name into the frame. And we've even heard Gordon Strachan's name up there, Jack Ross, who could be in line for both jobs. Who do you think it needs to be? Because they're not out of trouble at the bottom end.
No, it'll be interesting to see what Anne Budge's view is and what they need. Is it a young youth, a new sort of a young man, with different ideas, or an experienced guy like the Motherwell manager. These are the 2 candidates I think that both of the clubs will be looking at. It just depends which way they want to go down.
Yep, and of course you touched on Anne Budge, because it's an unusual situation in the capital. Both clubs looking for a manager. Well, Anne Budge thought she might appear in front of the assembled members of the press today just to try and take the sting out of all the wild speculation. This is what she had to say about the sacking of Craig Levein and the recruitment for a new man.
I just wanted to give them that round of fixtures and then take stock. And having completed that round of fixtures on Wednesday night, and therefore having made my decision, I thought the right thing to do was to, if the decision has been made, then do it as quickly as possible. I questioned deeply whether it was the right thing to do to allow Craig to have both roles. It wasn't my suggestion, it was a suggestion of one of the other board members. It wasn't Craig's suggestion initially either. So do I regret it? Possibly, yes. I'm in no hurry. It's not that, we have someone in our sights, despite what some of the media have been saying. I want to go through the process rigorously and thoroughly and explore a lot of avenues. So the net will be cast quite wide.
The net will be cast quite wide. This is a big appointment when it comes. She's admitted she's made mistakes. I'm sure she's done it in business over the years. So how big a job is it now trying to get the right man in here for this one, Alison? Who do you think should be the front runner?
I think it's huge. I think making the appointment, getting the right appointment, I think it's massive. For me, there are two. I think John Robertson is a candidate for me. I think Jack Ross is a candidate for both. I think a very viable candidate for both. That he's young, he's young but with a degree of experience behind him, and still relatively innovative. But I think this is huge. I thought Anne Budge spoke well there. I think it's quite refreshing to hear that she had reservations over the director of football role going simultaneously with the managerial role, because I think that's been particularly problematic. And I also think it was the reason why it might have taken a while to make the decision in Craig Levine's future. I just wonder, had they been separated, would that call have come quicker? But I think, yeah, the next step now is massive when you look at where Hearts are and where they should be. When you look at the budget they have in terms of their playing staff, that you need them top six minimum.
Barry, we have a situation here where two women of influence could have a huge impact on where Hearts and Hibs are playing their football next season, because Leanne Dempster, obviously consulting with Rod Petrie, has to think about the right man for Hibs, and Anne Budge has to go through so many candidates. You know, this could be, in effect, something that either takes someone away for relegation. If they don't get it right, they could find themselves even deeper in the mire.
Yeah, but it's two women who I've got a lot of respect for. I like listening to them when they speak. And I'm sure they'll take their time in this one. I'm sure there'll be a lot of candidates. I mean, it's two, for me, massive clubs, fantastic clubs, good budgets, great stadiums. They've got their own training ground. So it's a great job to get. So I'm sure they'll take their time, and I'm sure they'll get it right.
Yeah, OK. Before we talk about the League Cup semi-finals, where both Edinburgh clubs got it woefully wrong, here's your last chance to win. A signed top from Stevie Naismith of Hearts and a signed top from Scott Allen of Hibs.
It's a Hearts and Hibs special competition. Simply like, share and follow PLZ Soccer on Facebook, YouTube or Twitter, and you're in with a chance of winning a signed shirt from Stevie Naismith of Hearts or Scott Allen of Hibs. Don't forget to state which one you want to win after you've hit the like, share, follow or subscribe button. Good luck!
Yeah, good luck with the final day of the competition. We'll announce the winner on tomorrow's show. So, semi-finals, well, it all started off with high hopes in the evening kick-off on Saturday night at Hampden Park. Could Hibs upset the apple cart? Well, it was emphatically no, although they did actually stage what seemed like a comeback Hibs, but in the end Celtic were too strong, Ruffy.
Yeah, we've seen the gap for the start of the season in both the Old Firm. They're so far ahead of everybody. It's not real. Obviously, the finances have been thrown out there and they bought in the better quality of players. I just think Hibs were just sort of hanging on big time. You know, the chances were just coming every attack, you know, and they're lucky it was only 5. They got a couple of breaks here and there, but it was one-way traffic for me.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of consternation down south about VAR. There were two decisions in that game, not that I think they fundamentally, you know, affected the outcome of the game, Alison, but there was a definite handball, and one of Celtic's goals was clearly offside.
Yeah, both, I think 5 minutes between both incidents. I think the Paul Hanlon handball was just before Edward was offside. Like you, I don't think they would have influenced the outcome of the game. I think Celtic hit the post three or four times over the course of the game. But yeah, the offside I thought was fairly obvious on initial viewing. When I saw it back the second time, it's quite clear there's no ambiguity about it whatsoever. And the same for the handball. I thought the handball was very apparent. Paul Heckingbottom, funnily enough, after the game was saying there's been greater scrutiny on officials in these games and greater accountability, but of course we're conveniently overlooking the penalty incident and just talking about one offside. I think if that's the case, I think you have to be in balance. I think you have to look at both decisions. OK, if Celtic were impressive on the Saturday, Rangers equally impressive, Barry Ferguson, on the Sunday against Hearts.
Yep, they took their time to score, but it was just a case when I was watching the game when Rangers were going to score, and when they did score, Hearts fell apart. I thought Rangers were miles in front of them. I just thought Hearts looked really timid, but you've got to give Rangers credit. I thought certainly Ryan Kent was really good. The first 70 minutes he was on the pitch. Again, Stephen Davis and Ryan Jack, and the man on form up top, Morelos, with 2 goals. So, no, Rangers thoroughly deserved it. They were miles in front of Hearts, and now they're in a final, and it'll be good to see how they do in that one.
Yeah, I just didn't. And there's the moment. You didn't witness it clearly, Ali, but there's the moment. He's got it. This is him on the high now. He's just got that smile on his face. Well, let me ask you this, and this is the one thing about, when you see Morelos scoring goals like this, I mean, he's a real threat. He's getting better week by week, scoring the goals. Can a manager say unequivocally that he won't be sold? He was adamant he can't be sold in January. You've got a situation where they've announced £11.3 million losses. There are assurances in the background that there's money there to keep the whole thing rolling along. Is Morelos the key to this desire to stop 9 in a row?
Yeah, he's one of the keys.
Yeah.
I don't think they can sell him in January. I think if there's certainly going to be interest in him. The way he's scoring goals just now, 20 goals this season is phenomenal. An unbelievable amount of goals to score. I think if somebody comes in January, we'll have a chat with him and say, look, we'll let you go in the summer. They need to keep him to the end of the season to really challenge Celtic, because he's shown this season he's grew up, his discipline's really improved, and the guy's hitting the back of the net, which is the most difficult thing to do in the game. OK, Alison, from our point of view, we look at things, and Barry's looking at on the park, off the park. Is there cause for alarm, or is it a case of the Rangers fans saying, hey, everything's about on the park, another final, stop 9 in a row, just get silverware in the bag, but stop 9 in a row, and there should be no worry about the losses that have been posted?
I don't think you can afford to be blindsided by what happens on the park, irrespective of whether it's success or whether it's failure. I think you have a duty of care to look behind the scenes. I think finances are dry. I don't think it's an exciting topic. It's never going to stimulate conversation or excitement the way getting to a final does. But I think it's hugely important. I think if you're a Rangers fan, you should be questioning the timing of those results, and you should be asking why they were released to dip under the radar. There's a reason for that. I think there's sustainability just now. Long-term wise, I'm not sure, and I think it can't always go on when you're making a loss of such significant sums. It doesn't go on indefinitely.
Yeah.
The question about whether or not Morelos will be sold in January, if it's a football question, absolutely not. You would never allow your best asset, a guy who's sitting on 20 goals just now, to go midway through a season when you're trying to stop your rivals in their tracks. However, if accountants get involved in it, you might not have the sway to say no.
I think the one element of this, Barry, is Rangers will always have the safety valve, providing there's somebody there saying, I'm going to keep writing the cheques, whether it's a Dave King, whether it's a businessman based in Hong Kong, or whether it's a Douglas Park. As long as there's benefactors there saying, I'm willing to take the hit, I'm willing to convert it into shares, then everything in the garden is rosy.
Well, I think that's happening. That's why they've been able to go out and spend £7 million on Ryan Kent, £3 million on the centre-back. And that's the reason why I don't think they'll sell him in January. I think they'll wait to the summer if offers do come in, because I think you've got these wealthy businessmen who are willing to write these sums of money off.
And it's really all or nothing. It's a battle right to the end here. The lift for me would be 8th of December, Ruffy. That would give, I think, Rangers fans, it would certainly give the players a huge shot of belief, an injection of, belief that they can actually go and not only win the League Cup, but take the title, maybe win the Scottish Cup. Although I think if they stopped Celtic winning the title, they wouldn't care about the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, but the Scottish Cup would be a start, and the Betfred would be as well, But I think they put all their eggs in the one basket. It's the league for them this year. I think Dave King's already come out and said the carrot at the end of this is getting us back into financial grounding, is getting into the Champions League. They see the money that Celtic get, whether it's 30 million, 35 million. If Rangers were to get into win the league and get into the Champions League, all that financial would go out the window. So I think that's what they're trying to concentrate on and getting done.
Yeah, it's the biggest roll of the dice ever this season. It's for Rangers, it's throwing the kitchen sink in, And for Celtic, it's just a case of, I wonder what their strategy will be. The only one I can see at the moment is everything in the garden is rosy, sign a backup striker in January.
I think for Celtic it's a matter of continuation, isn't it? For Rangers, I think you're right. I think this is a be-all and end-all this season. If they're not successful, I think I just don't think that Steven Gerrard would keep his job. If they don't win something this season, then I think there would be questions asked, and I think there would be ramifications of it. I think the club have thrown significant resources to try and give them a playing staff that can go and close the gap and challenge for a title. The early indications augur well in that respect. I think they've got to a final. They've been very convincing. I think they've made progress in European football. They're itchy-peachy when it comes to the league just now. I think you'll start to get a better idea of where things are in January, and then you can look at it and say, well, Celtic have the finances there. If they wish, they can go out, they can bring in another striker, they can maybe bring in one or two other players if they feel the need that they've got to stretch ahead again.
Ruffy, you think Rangers can win the Cup?
I'm more convinced this year than I was last year. I thought Celtic were head and shoulders in big games, big match games. I thought Celtic had the players going into these games who could raise their game. But I now also think that Rangers have got certain players in that team as well. So I think it's really evenly matched. I don't think if we get to this final, there'll be a definite favourite. I think it'll be pretty even. And again, for me, it'll be on the day. As I said, Celtic have improved on the day big games, and at this moment, if their big players turn up, I think they would win it.
Yep. And Barry, it's as close as you can call it. That's the way I think everybody wanted competition.
I look at both teams, and I think middle to front, both teams are pretty equal, if I'm being honest. The only thing that worries me about Rangers is defensively, the back four. I think the goalkeeper's no issue. I think he's the best in the league. It's just the back four. Again, there was some instances during the game yesterday that a bit slack. They've just got to improve, but I think this is the best chance that Rangers have had for a number of years. I think he's built a really strong, good squad, good competition for places, and they're in a good place just now. They're confident, they're winning games, but who knows in Old Firm games, but what a chance it is for Rangers to get some sort of silverware, because let's be honest, Celtic have dominated easily the last 3 years.
Yeah, okay. You think they can win it?
Yes.
There you are, Ruffy. See that? Yes.
What did you think he was going to say, Celtic?
Well, he has.
I'm not just sitting here because I'm a Rangers fan and I played with Rangers. I think there's a steely determination about this Rangers squad that I've not seen, and that's down to the manager and down to his recruitment. And listen, winning games breeds confidence, and that's what they've got just now.
There were 3 Premier League games. We're not forgetting about what happened. Of course, a lot of doubters about Derek McInnes' credentials after a couple of pastings at the hands of Celtic and Rangers, but they've bounced back, and here is a result which will please many an Aberdeen fan, a 3-0 win over Kilmarnock. It was 2-2 between Hamilton and Ross County, and of course Motherwell just edging it by 2-1 against Livingston. That's how it all panned out there. I think Motherwell fans, Alison, are just saying, just stay, Stephen Robinson, stay, because everything's going so well for them with that manager. But he is a hot topic of conversation for one of the jobs in Edinburgh.
It's a real double-edged sword, isn't it? You're willing your team to do well and keep getting the wins, but you know if he's up there in third or fourth that he's attracting attention. So, yep, I think you wouldn't be doing your due diligence if you were Anne Burgerley and Dempster and you weren't giving them consideration.
Just like Aberdeen to come back with an emphatic win again, Ruffy, 3-0.
Yeah, you can see the relief in the boy Main. I thought after he got his goal, he was a bag of tricks, back to where we saw him when he was at Motherwell, and that'll be a good thing for Derek, that they can get him scoring goals.
And of course, Shea Logan, never one to shirk an opinion. Of course, he's come out and said Celtic and Rangers should just shut up about moaning about the imbalance in finances in European football because everybody has to suffer it domestically.
Yeah, look, he likes an opinion, doesn't he, Shane Logan? He likes to say, look, I get where he's coming from. Look, it's part and parcel of football. People have got their own opinion. Do I agree with his opinion? No, really. Yeah. But that's life.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because I actually agree with his opinion, Ali. I mean, I think, let's have no moaning about the imbalance in European football, because quite simply, Celtic and Rangers can outspend everybody here. But when they come up against them in Europe, they don't like a taste of their own medicine.
Absolutely. We've seen it for years, haven't we? We've seen the same thing, a big fish in a small pond, and then you go into European football and you have your eyes opened. Yeah, I agree completely. I don't think you can cry about it either. I really don't. I think you are where you are, and that's it. You get on with it.
Yeah, I think the tale of today, Ali, is that you and I have to just disagree with former footballers Ruffy and Barry Ferguson. Don't worry, it won't affect it won't affect our friendship with him. And I love that attitude. Who's really interested in logging?
Really interested? No. But listen, what is the point of coming out with that? Look, is Rangers and Celtic, in terms of Porto, is Porto outspending Rangers? Yeah, they've got a few quid more, but I wouldn't say it's masses of difference.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big an imbalance when it comes to that part of it.
Champions League is a total different ballgame.
It is. I think what you've got now is an acceptance, Ruffy, just to finish here. It's an acceptance that Celtic and Rangers are, at best, I mean, I've said it before, they're mediocre Europa League sides, and at any time they can punch above their weight there is a joy for fans, but that's where they are.
Yeah, well, they're in the Europa League. I don't think they'll get away with that excuse at the moment with the teams that they're coming up against. There are some of them are bigger spenders, but you only tend to use that excuse when you get beat.
Yeah, absolutely. There you are. Hey, stick that in your pipe. There's Ruffy just firing it in there at the tail end. OK, it's been an interesting programme today. Talk of sackings. What about replacements? Give us your view across all our social media, not only Twitter, but of course Facebook. We have a Facebook Live every day for you to enjoy. And of course on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel. And of course, we'll give you unique video content, other features that I'm sure you will enjoy. If you want your opinion, you'll get it right here. Thank you to everyone for joining the ever-growing football family. But on this Monday, thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Alison and to Barry Ferguson, and from myself, Peter Martin, thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.